price of freedom is sure as shit not free. Because society will tell us what freedom means. Hello and welcome back to the Job Not Done podcast. I'm your host, Jackson Hogan. And today we're going to be talking about how discipline is the only way to freedom. There's no other way you can have it. If you're here, you already know our mission. Podcast is not about hype. It's not about shortcuts, and it's not about comfort. It's about this masculinity, discipline, and becoming a man you can actually respect. Today's episode is called Discipline is the Only Way to Freedom. And I know that sounds backwards for a lot of people, especially living in the United States, where we have freedom. And the price of freedom is sure as shit not free. Because society will tell us what freedom means. Doing whatever you want, sleeping till whenever you want, eating whatever you want, and avoiding responsibility. But if you look around, the people with the least discipline are the most trapped by their habits, trapped by their emotions, trapped by their circumstances. Meanwhile, the men who live by structure, standards, and self-control, they move freely. And it's not just men, it's women too. But they think clearly, they act decisively. They aren't slaves to these ravenous impulses. So today we're breaking down why discipline isn't restriction, it's liberation. Because once you understand this, you stop running from discipline and you start chasing it. And as always, your job is not done. From a young age, we're sold a lot that freedom means no rules, no schedule, no pressure, no expectations. But that version of freedom always leads to the same place, always leads to the same outcome, and always leads to failure. To breaking those promises to yourself, breaking those promises to the others around you. Weak habits, a weak body, a weak mind, and you yourself a weak identity. Look at the men who chase pleasure instead of discipline. They aren't free, they're controlled. Controlled by dopamine, the cheap kind, comfort, validation, mood. If your actions change based on how you feel, you are not free. You are reactive, you are predictable, you are owned by your impulses. True freedom begins when feelings stop being in charge. And that's because discipline creates these options in your life. There are many different roads and paths you can take in life. But here is something that most people don't understand. Discipline will expand your choices. It'll expand your capability, your physical capability, your mental capability, your resilience, your financial improvements, investments, and your emotional stability. That gives you leverage. That gives you the ultimate leverage and becoming the 1%. That allows you to become the 1% because you have the mindset, but do you have the discipline to follow through with it? Do you have the discipline to understand what it means to be the 1%, how you have to act and how you have to conduct your business in order to be the 1%? A disciplined man can walk away from bad situations, say no without fear, and handle the pressure without folding. An undisciplined man has no leverage. He needs comfort. He needs approval. He needs this escape in his life because he thinks that the only way that he can have any sort of comfort is from validation from others. And most of the time, that's women, especially women, especially what men are told today that they need to be less aggressive. And we went over that last time with the small voices. But discipline doesn't box you in. It builds the foundation that allows you to move freely, unfortunately, through life. And structure is not the enemy here. A lot of men resist discipline. They resist grinding because they think that structure kills individuality. But in fact, it doesn't. What it does is it protects your energy. When you wake up with these standards, you don't waste time deciding, you don't negotiate with yourself, you stick to the non-negotiables, and you don't rely on motivation. Motivation is great. I believe it's a great little push to get you out the door. But discipline is going to keep you going in the long run. Discipline is going to help you win the marathon. Discipline is going to help you keep showing up every day. It's not motivation because we are not constantly motivated. That's not how we work as human beings. You yourself, you know the work that needs to be done, but you're deciding not to. You're deciding to enslave yourself to all these other things instead of breaking free. And I know it's hard. I've been there. I've been there many situations in my life, physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically. It doesn't matter what it is. Training happens because you schedule it, because you go to it. Work gets done because it's expected of you and you expect it of yourself. Growth happens because that is non-negotiable in life. We naturally grow physiologically, but we also need to grow because we want to succeed in life. We want to be successful. We want to go to new places, reach new heights. And what I tell people is, and I hear this a lot too, a new level, another devil, right? You have to understand that you're going to face challenges every step of the way. And discipline is your ultimate freedom on each level. When you level up and when you become the 2.0 version of yourself, that's not boring, that's efficiency. Masculinity thrives in routine. Chaos is exhausting, guys. And structure is calming. Structured discipline, aggressive discipline is calming to the mind. You find this clarity that we talked about last episode. You find this clarity, crush your goals, chase your aspirations and dreams. And a calm mind makes better decisions. So let me leave you with this. If you feel stuck, if you feel restless, you feel trapped, it's not because you need more freedom. It's because you need more discipline. Discipline in your body, discipline in your time, your thoughts, your standards. Freedom doesn't come from avoiding responsibility. It doesn't come from avoiding the things you know you need to do in order to succeed. It comes from being capable of carrying it. So build a discipline, embrace the structure, and choose the hard path daily. Choose the hardest route. Suffering is required in order for you to succeed. It's the simple but hard truth. Because on the other side of discipline is confidence. On the other side is peace. And on the other side is freedom. And that's because the job's not done. This has been episode 16 of the Job Not Done podcast. If this episode hit home, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.